Hey everybody, it's Matt Gary, and I'm back here again to do another episode of Let's Play Indie Games for Where the Water Tastes Like Wine. Today, as always, I'm joined by my co-host Tina, and today I've also got a special guest, my baby dog Nelly. Yeah. So we'll see how Nelly does. She wanted up here on my lap while I recorded this, so we're just gonna play through it with her and see how it goes. Alright, you ready to search? You wanna help me search this building? Maybe? Or maybe I can't search the building? Come on. There we go.
The soldier sits in the dirt with his legs splayed out, like a child would sit. Beneath the tattered fabric of his antique uniform, several open wounds fester in the hot sun. Lend a hand, traveler?
Let's ask about the wounds. Yeah. Let's see how this goes.
Well, it's a fair ambush. I'm the only survivor. Even killed the horses. Got him mad with what we pulled off in Lawrence. As the soldier talks, blood rises from his wounds like plumes of red smoke.
Lawrence? Like Lawrence, Kansas?
Lawrence the town, not the fella. Rounded up anyone old enough to hold a gun and burned the place down. Where you going, Yankee? A bowie knife flies past your head, so close the wind tickles your ear. It sticks in a tree with a solid thump that clears the squirrels and birds out of the branches. When you look back, the wounded soldier's nowhere to be found.
Everybody's a ghost in this game. I feel like it's a recurring theme. My dog is still here. She has opted to lay down. I'll see if I can convince her to come back soon enough. But for now, let's see which one of these stories is over here. The policeman in the truck on this corner is having a pretty wild argument with somebody on the other end of the radio set. No, he keeps saying, no way, you listen in as the man on the radio finishes a wild story about the blessed lighthouse sanctuary where souls in love could find respite. I swear this is what happened, the cop on the radio insists. That's when it clicks. You know the story. It's a stranger version of the story of the two lighthouse keepers, but with some bits left out or replaced. Ain't true, the cop in the truck sighs. If only he knew. And if only I could read. I don't know what this is. Like a train station, maybe? No. A preacher watches you with an odd look. Suspicion? Pity? He beckons you into the church and starts counting cash out of the donations box. Hush, he says, trying to silence your thanks. He piles the coin into your hand. You look like you need it more than we do. Alright, let's turn around here now. I'm still trying to get this whistling thing down.
A sign in town says a farmer is hiring for the sugarcane harvest. A bag-eyed man drives you and 10 hungry strangers out into the cane, where he leaves you. Everyone gets a hatchet, but no instruction.
You're right
Foreman
there now?
is missing for some reason. Nobody is sure what to do.
Okay.
A young man in a red jacket stuffs all the hatchets in his pack. This is stupid, he says. I'm leaving. You can get $5 for a nice axe like this. He marches off into the cane and others follow. Don't! A young woman shouts after them. It's not right.
Okay. Alright, I think Nelly has had her share of this Let's Play. She's ready to get down now, even though she insisted to be up here when I started. So, you say bye? See you later, everybody. Maybe I'll join you again next time. If that's not your voice, then you gotta talk. I'm just doing my best to interpret. Okay, you have fun. Bye again. Alright, and that's why Tina's my co-host instead of Nelly, because Nelly is just Nelly. Alright, let's get back to the game. Anyway, right, this guy's trying to steal the axes, that's where we were at. I don't owe the farmer shit, really, but I do feel bad.
The thief left some hatchets behind. So you and the 3 chumps left start chopping cane. It's brutal work. None of you know what you're doing. Keep going, the girl calls. Her hands are bleeding, and her face is bright with sweat. Soon, her cane is piled high. Sometime after noon, the truck rolls up with a boozy foreman riding shotgun. Good work, he croaks. The girl wipes her blood-pinked hands on her apron to take her pay, but doesn't notice the crumpled body in the back of the truck, or the hatchets heaped beside it.
So, I guess she was gonna get murdered. This farmer's loitering beside a couple crates of berries, idly watching the clouds go by. Waiting for the pickup, he says. Trying to make small talk. Hey, you want to hear a wild story? Absolutely. He starts telling you about the fisherman and his fish calling seagulls. It takes a couple minutes, but suddenly you recognize the story about the seagulls and the fisherman. Whoever told it to the farmer changed, well, a lot, but it's still pretty good. Where'd you hear it? Well, I can't remember, he says. I think I've known it for years, since I was a boy, for sure. That can't be right. It did. You know, I'm just curious to see what happens if you pick the side that's not conducive to storytelling. Bullshit, his laughter rings down the dusty road. You're a good joker. I'll give you that. Alright, so we're leaving my birth home of Jacksonville. Well, maybe not yet. I guess we'll go to the campfire, see what we can do in the campfire. This is where I was born. Not that I remember it. Because I left 9 months later, but still interesting. Oh, it's this guy. This isn't good. I just talked to him. God, not good.
Young man, 17, maybe 18. Closed casket. Did that boy wrong, they did. I suppose I'm glad I gave his family a little hope, at least. Lately, my journey's been pretty ordinary. Just walking church to church. What about you? Been on any adventures?
Have I been on any adventures? I don't know what story to tell for adventures. This is kind of adventurous. Dang, I don't even remember this one. Okay. Quinn's Adventures. That could work.
I swear I ain't heard a story good as that in a long minute. As a traveling man, I don't do funerals often. See, the burying is one thing, but the real service you provide is in the weeks to come as mourners turn over in their sleep and doubt creeps in. I know that pain intimately.
Alright.
You must have seen some pretty wild stuff on the road. What's the most exciting thing you've seen?
The most exciting thing. Not really exciting, also not exciting. None of those are exciting. I don't know what counts as exciting, honestly. I personally think this is exciting, but I'm getting a lot of mixed. Alright, so either this or this is what I'm gonna choose. I'm gonna go with this guy.
Sorry, that kind of thing don't scare me anymore, if that's what you're going for.
I don't understand how this is a scary story. I just don't get it.
My wishes, days like this, I only have one wish. Lord, guide us away from those men who would kill us, else there won't be a heaven, only more heartache. Anyway, why don't you tell me a scary story? You must have heard some good ones.
Well, every time, man, every time I tell my theoretically scary story, they ask for a scary story. No, not that one. That's just sad. He knows this one. Okay, this was terrifying, in my opinion. This is just sad. I'll go with this one. I don't think it's gonna work, but...
Oh, you got me for a second with that one.
Oh, nice. I got it.
Fate, fortune. Well, crimes like this make destiny something easy to believe in. Washes our hands. Tells us there's nothing that could have been done. But it washes the hands of the offender, too. It is fearful resignation and nothing more. Lately, my journey's been pretty ordinary. Just walking church to church. What about you?
Been on any adventures? Well, yes and no. Wounded soldier, maybe? Oh, I do not know what to choose for this at all. Okay, I don't think this one will work. I would maybe choose this one. This is a sad story. I don't know what to pick. I'm gonna screw this up. I know I'm gonna screw it up, and I'm gonna waste a story. Oh man. Oh god. No, I'm not gonna waste this one. If I have to waste one, I'm gonna waste this one.
Tearjerkers need a little more truth in them, I think.
Well, it is the truth. Okay, I read it with my own eyes.
Choice? Yeah, some days. I really believe that we all have choices in life. We are truly free to decide whether to, on days like today, I think maybe only God chooses, and he does so with arbitrary cruelty.
I know, right? I I can't get the right damn story to tell
You must
right
have
now.
seen some pretty wild stuff on the road. What's the most exciting thing you've seen?
God, I have none of the stories he wants. These are getting harder. This has got to be exciting, right? Taxi cab, futuristic dude. Thrilling story, thrilling story, thrilling story. I don't even remember this one. I don't think any of these are thrilling. Okay, I'm gonna try it. I feel like I'm gonna waste this because this is a good story. Taxi cab that shows the future.
You've got a pretty wild life.
Yes.
You know that?
The eye is not opening at all because I am just getting wrecked
Future.
this time.
I pray that one day America will be a place where young black boys do not need fear the arbitrary justice of fearful men. But I worry that there are a great number of closed caskets between here and there. Well, the night's over. I've got miles to go, of course. A long way to go alone. This poor boy is still haunting my head. I wish we'd been able to continue our talk. I don't have a preacher of my own to seek solace from, you know? My
Yeah.
next leg takes me this way. Maybe we'll cross paths again. We seem to be lucky that way.
Oh man, well I am going that way, but we're definitely not crossing paths for a while. I gotta get some more stories. Okay, let me see if I can figure this. Let me. I think. I don't know how to do this. I gotta look that up. You wait in this soup line for over an hour. It's barely crawling along. You round the corner of the building and see bar away lone bear nurse struggling to ladle out soup to hundreds. Gonna be waiting here a while longer, sighs a mother-in-law beside you. Seems like it. You and her get talking. After a while, the topic drifts into a strange place and she starts telling you about the ghosts who punish spiritualists for their hubris. You recognize it as the story about the seance, but way more outrageous than your version. I know that story. You tell her your version. That's not as exciting, she says, diplomatically. I mean, it sure sounds realer than what I heard, but I think Toby likes mine best. She bounces her child encouragingly on her hip, but Toby... Oh, I can read. But Toby's too hungry to smile. Look at this kid. He is furious. That is this is like maybe a 2-year-old, right? Because she's holding him. He's small. That is terrifying. If my 2-year-old child ever gave me this face, I would just run away. Doom, 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 doom. This kindly old man sharing the shade under the bridge with you tells you a few rambling stories, some true seeming, some conspicuously less so. All true, he assures you. There's history in this place going all the way back to Indian times. Strange stuff happens around here. Can't all be true. Sure it is, he scoffs. And then, as if to prove himself right, he launches into a story about the man who had to travel 600 miles to find a single job. And this one, you know. It's the story of the couple parted by unemployment, but wilder and stranger than you remember. See then, the old man laughs. So I ain't pulling your leg. It's all true. Don't lie to me, old man. Let's see, I don't know when this is supposed to be, like the 1800s. I wonder if Miami is just nothing like it is, or what would have been back then. Not enough cocaine going around at this point. Let's go see what's over here. Do you... Almost there. Yeah.
You rest in a field where a well-dressed stranger talks your ear off on all manner of subjects. The weather, fireflies in summer, how combine harvesters work. After a while, the mood shifts. Heard my death bones this morning.
Ooh, what are those?
Death bones. Heard 'em rattle like clank, clink, clank. More startling than wind chimes in a tornado. He plucks dry grass and chews on a piece. Ain't much time left now.
Huh. Both of these are interesting to me. But I think I have less stories on this side with the little Mooney guy. I think I don't have many stories in either of these, honestly. Click, 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 click. Okay, you seem
That
young.
don't matter. I'm fine.
I don't even
Got
think
my
I said
savior
that word
waiting at
right.
the pearly gates.
You
The
seem
man
young.
shifts uncomfortably. At least I do as of this afternoon, I hope. Nearly knocked the pastor's door down earlier. Sure was good to meet you. The man pauses, rubs his chin in contemplation. Don't let the bedbugs bite. He walks off slow.
What?
After his silhouette becomes small in the horizon, but before he vanishes, you see him collapse to the ground.
So we're just gonna move. Okay, so in this situation, we're out in the middle of nowhere. I guess, kind of. At least it seems. You know this guy thinks he's gonna die, and then you see him collapse on the ground, and instead of potentially going to help him, your solution is only to move on. Damn. That is just the most savage thing. Alright, let's go to our next place. Let's hear a story. The farmer's loitering. You know, I'm kind of getting tired of these. These bore me a little bit. Maybe it's just because there's no cool narrator guy. I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, let's read through it. The farmer's loitering beside a couple crates of berries, idly watching the clouds go by. Waiting for the pickup, he says, trying to make small talk. Hey, you want to hear a wild story? Sure. He starts telling you about future Boston, where taxi rides cost $20. It takes a couple minutes, but suddenly you recognize it as a story about the taxi, which shows its riders the future. Whoever told it to the farmer changed. Well, a lot, but it's still pretty good. Oh, I can't remember, he says. I think I've known it for years, since I was a boy for sure. No, I'm just going to leave him with his tail this time. You thank him for his story and start to mosey off down the road. Keep cool, friend, he calls after you. Well, taxi rides basically cost $20 now, so...
He's small for his age. Boy of 13 or so, sitting on an upturned bucket by the side of a tiny wedge of farmland. The dog, as though by contrast, is massive, an enormous yellow-brown mutt. He's called Rover, the boy explains.
Pa says he can't come with us.
Yeah, where can Pa not go with you?
West.
You notice the Model A truck on the yard, piled high with furnishings and trunks and bags and knots of rope to tie it all together. And upon all that, too, yet more dust and grit.
Pa says it has to be better.
Why can't Rover go?
With one toe tip, he scratches a parabola on the dead, dry ground.
Pa says we can't afford to feed Rover no more.
You can't tell where the blonde of the dog's coat ends and the omnipresent dust begins. Same goes for the boy's hair.
Will you take him?
All right.
Rover follows you eagerly after you feed him the tiniest sliver of jerky. But a few hours later, he snaps to attention, as though hearing some distant noise your ears can't catch. The last you see of him are the markings left by his dirty pelt on the leaves of the underbrush.
Well, I was apparently not a very good dog owner.
The blistering sun has scared even birds into the shade. But a middle-aged woman and a young couple are still collecting scraps of cotton that the machinery missed. With a ragged voice, the older woman calls to you. Got any water?
Oh, hell no. No, I'm just kidding. I couldn't. Although I need more stories in this area. Yeah, I mean, I couldn't. That would be terrible, right?
The three of them rush over to you, suddenly reanimated. They pass around your canteen. When you get it back, it's empty. The woman squeezes your hand and sighs with relief. Sweetest thing I ever tasted, she tells you.
Well, but you could have left me just a little bit of water. I could have. I gotta try. I gotta walk all day long. I don't know why. I guess I'm indebted to a wolf man. But what am I gonna do now? I guess I'm already a skeleton, so it's not much point. Just gonna fall right through my bones. Okay, I'm gonna be really mad if that is a new campfire over there. Oh. I can't remember where Grandpa guy said he was gonna be. I'm just gonna try it. We'll see. If it's new or it's old. Ooh, I just got an email from Pizza Hut for 50% off. Maybe I'll grab a piece later. If it is this dude again, oh, okay, good. It's a different accent. No,
friend,
it is you
it's
again.
Good to see you again. I've been thinking about you often since we last met.
Damn it. Okay.
Remember what we talked about before? The young man murdered? I can't get him out. It's the kind of thing you hear about all the time. The kind of thing I've seen before, but I'm still thinking about it. Got time to talk? Maybe I don't have to be your preacher, and we can just chat. Lately, my journey's been pretty ordinary. Just walking church to church. What about?
Oh, I've got nothing. I have got nothing.
Tearjerkers need a little more truth in them, I think.
so frustrated. Should have trusted myself. Good thing I got Tina.
Freedom? I get angry. I do. Furious. All that talk of huddled masses yearning to be free. But when I look at that boy's parents, they ain't yearning for freedom.
No. Probably not.
All they want is their damn boy back.
I don't blame him.
Anyway, why don't you tell me a scary story? You must have heard some good ones.
I told you my only scary story. I wasted already. I don't remember what this one was. This one's, I guess, probably the scariest one I got, so we're gonna go with it.
Oh, you got me for a second with that one.
Oh, I don't know how it happened. I got an open eye. This doesn't make any sense.
Choice? Yeah, some days. I really believe that we all have choices in life. We are truly free to decide whether to live moral lives or to throw ourselves headlong into sin and profit.
Oh, man. It is too early. I wake up
Days
at like
today,
6 to do
I
these.
think maybe only God chooses, and he does so with arbitrary cruelty.
Oh, word.
You must have seen some pretty wild stuff on the road. What's the most exciting thing you've seen?
I don't freaking know, man. I thought this was exciting. Because you don't get held up every day. At least not in my world. This isn't exciting. I've got no idea what to tell you. Ooh. All right. You know what? I've never tried these ones, and I don't even know when the hell to use them. So let's go with it.
Different folks have different senses of humor, I
Didn't
suppose.
it? No, that was funny at all.
Joy? I'm a man of God, but I don't have no joy. The only time I smile is when the congregation does. Anyway, tell me a hopeful story. Something where things work out for the best.
Okay, I might have one of those. We can maybe work this one out. Not that for sure. Maybe this one? Not that. I don't remember what this was. Why do I not remember this? I remember all these other stories. I'm gonna pick the wrong one. There's too many to choose from. I don't know what this one is. I want to choose it though. This is kind of... No, I don't think it qualifies. Alright, I'm gonna go with the lighthouse.
I'll save that one for a sermon sometime.
Yes.
Love, well, the boy fell for the wrong woman. Maid hair and peach skin. Love and death ain't so far for boys like that in America.
Are we saying that the black boy was killed because he fell in love with a white woman?
You must have seen some pretty wild stuff on the road.
That is
What's the most exciting thing you've seen?
probably accurate during this time period. Oh, was not paying attention. Exciting. I think he said exciting. I don't have any exciting. Who knows? There's probably some crazy white guys out there that might still do that. Thankfully, a lot less than back in this time period, I would assume, though. Tell the story of the man who seemed alright. exciting. This is not exciting. I don't really have a lot of exciting ones. Maybe I'll try the metalworker one, because I don't even know what the hell it is. Let's just go with the metalworker one. I don't care if I blow it.
I'm not sure that one moves me.
Yeah,
Not
I didn't think
everyone
so.
has faith. I met one of them radicals around Chicago way last year. He was desperate to tell me about science, about how I don't need faith to save my people. Damn fool.
Oh, well. Alright, let's
He
not.
might be correct about what does or doesn't exist, but he sure ain't right about what we need.
Okay, I suppose that's a fair enough point.
I've got to go now, friend. Headed to a congregation over this way. Long walk alone. This boy won't leave my head.
See you later.
And I keep thinking, I left America when I was his age. Lied on forms. Told him I was 25 when I was 17.
What time period is this?
I'd heard that the 369th Infantry Regiment needed a chaplain, so I told him I was a preacher. Don't get me wrong, I believed fervently, but I wasn't no reverend. I just memorized a few verses, some psalms, enough of the commandments to make me think I was a true man of God. Oh, my proud, arrogant lips.
Alright. Well, let's go see what, this little Majigga is. Majigga, jigga, jigga, wigga, squigga. Okay, alright, I'm gonna read this. Forgot there was no narrator here. You share this bus stop with an old man who shifts from foot to foot, thumbing his suspenders and watching the passing traffic with anxious focus. Hey, he blurts out suddenly, turning toward you. Want to hear a good story? Sure. With the air of a man who's distracted himself from something, he stumbles quickly through a tale about the sugarcane farmer who took criminals from the jails and worked them in his fields until they died. Okay, confusing himself now and again. Backtracking, adding new details out of order, you barely piece the story together. Wait a second. You suddenly realize he told you a twisted version of the story about sugarcane cutters blinded to the threat of death, but massively changed with whole new chunks you don't remember. It's true, the old man insists, turning his wincing eyes back to the road, and with that, the conversation seems over. Song. Oh, it's Miami. I didn't think Miami was this big back then. I thought it was like okay, but mostly small. What do I know? You know, I could go to all these cool things, but I want to go to Miami, and then I think I'm gonna have to stop this video. Whoop. All right, you know what? Let's see what's at the store. Ooh, a mojito. Getting wild. Blue plate special, or some root beer, or a glass of wine. Let's earn some money. You wander the streets looking for a way to make some cash. I am going to look for work. Doors close in your face one by one. The giant dominoes. Boom, boom, boom. Bad luck today, or is it something else? Change your outfit. Well, did not work
You've
out.
enjoyed a break on the beach, staring off the edge of the world. But the sun is starting to go down, and the breeze is getting stronger. As you're about to stand, a man plunks down near you. He sits a polite distance off, but looks at you expectantly.
Greet him warily.
He smiles weakly. I just got fired. First Spanish-American radio host in the state, and they fired me. They needed to make cuts, I get that, but I'm twice the... He trails off. I don't know what I'm going to tell my wife.
Either way, the story stays the same, at least it appears, so we're gonna go with be sympathetic.
Could try the docks, but there's already more men than jobs, and I could barely support the family on what they pay. He hangs his head. And my boy, I can't bring myself to tell them. I don't know what to do. He calms as the sun drops below the horizon. An expanse of darkness is ahead of you. Turning back to the lights of the city reminds you that the world hasn't gone away. After a long silence, he speaks. It's never going to get better, is it?
I don't know. You know, there was a certain point in time where I felt like, you know, okay, I've been through several phases of my adult life at this point. There was a point where I thought this was true. I kept feeling like I got screwed, and honestly, the last year or two, I kind of feel like this is more accurate depiction of life. It just kind of depends on how you personally perceive it. You know, if you believe there's hope, I've found that there is often hope and an opportunity somewhere. And when I felt this way, I really didn't get much of anywhere most of the time. So, you know, I'm gonna give him the hope that I, at least at this moment, have. So, we'll go for it.
It takes you a moment to notice his sobbing over the noise of the waves. I've got to tell them, haven't I? I'll go to the port in the morning and see if they'll take me. You can no longer make him out in the dark, but his hand touches your shoulder as he leaves.
Good luck, man. I like this story. It's one that I can kind of relate to, I suppose. All right. Might as well get a mojito while I'm here. Yeah. Oh, I should have gone to New Orleans. That would have been a better choice. Alright, well, we have made it. We have made it all the way down to the bottom of America's male parts, genitalia, penis. Yep. So we're here. We're at the bottom, but it's time for me to go. So we will continue this next time. Yeah, but as always, if you like watching these videos of me doing junk and playing games and all that, make sure to subscribe. If you really like me, click that little bell button. That way you're like, oh my gosh, Matt made a video, I can watch it again. Like immediately. And you know, if you love me like I love you, then just, you know, throw a donation my way, maybe at the Patreon. You know, your choice, up to you. Anyway, guys, Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.